Hi, you're listening to This Is Not Your Practice Life. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friends. I'm a certified life and emotional intelligence coach. And if you really want to step into your highest self, there are a few non-negotiables you're going to have to learn, and I am just the person to help you do it. No matter your past, I'm here to help you create a more fulfilling future. So stick around with me. Not only will I teach you how to navigate your brain's daily mind drama, but I'll help you actually understand your mind, your emotions, why you do the things you do, and why others do the things they do. Most importantly, I'll help you build the self-awareness skills to create whatever results you want. It's never too late to change the trajectory of your life. After all, this is not your practice life. Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. I'm Macy. I'm so excited to have you. And while you're listening to this episode, or by the time you're listening to this episode, I will be in my hometown of Kentucky, visiting friends and family and celebrating the holiday, Christmas, my favorite ever. It's so different now that my Oma and Opa are gone, because when they were alive, Christmas Eve was the most magical, amazing experience growing up. It was my favorite thing, even into adulthood. And life has just changed so much. So if you're grieving, in the holidays, I feel you. I'm so thankful that I still have family members that I can celebrate with and friends who love and embrace me during, the seasons. And well, they embrace me all the time. But what I mean by saying that is that they welcome me with open arms even into their holidays and celebrations, because our family dynamics are so different now with my Oma and Opa being gone. And they were, my Oma was like the matriarch of the family. And I'm sure there's listeners here who, if you've lost the matriarch of your family, the dynamic just changes and traditions change and everything feels so different. And sometimes there's a lot of grief with that. And I just have so much compassion and love for you, because I'm living that and I know what that feels like. And I also am, again, thankful that, we've tried to do something meaningful and, fun for the Christmas holiday. And now I have a niece, almost 1-year-old niece to celebrate with. And so getting to, knowing that we get to experience Christmas in the eyes of a child is fun again too, because before my sister had her baby last year, that we, my baby sister, who is 24, I think now, she was the last baby of the family. So we celebrated Christmas Eves, even when my Oma and Opa were alive, as basically adults, because none of my cousins had babies. They still don't have babies. My sister is the first person in my family to have a child. So it was, a long 23 years before a child had re-entered any of our lives. So it is fun to think we're going to get to see it through her eyes. Now she's 1-year-old. So maybe not so much this year, but in the years to come, it'll be really fun. And then when my husband and I decide to start adding kids to the mix, it'll just be fun, and we'll create our, own, hopefully amazing traditions, because I really do grieve the way that it used to be. So for any of you going through that as well, I so feel you, but I hope that you get to do something amazing on this holiday season, and I'm thinking of you and sending you so much love either way. All right, you guys, that was my little spiel, but today we're going to talk about a part of the brain that can really be incredible at helping us do amazing things and create amazing things and get the results we want, or it can be the little pain in our ASS. Okay, so if you have kids in the car, I'm trying to be mindful, okay, but it can be a pain in the rear. So I want to talk about that because it's a big deal. And I love science. Both of my degrees, my bachelor and master's degree, are both science-based degrees. And I always geeked out in science classes. I love science. Like everybody else would, ace history. And I admittingly, I'm terrible at that stuff. I know there's a lot going on in the world. I need to like sharpen up with all of that stuff. But my strengths were science, art, and I loved like spelling. I shouldn't say like English because I didn't really enjoy English classes, but I loved like spelling, art classes because I loved being creative, and I love science. Now, anything else, math, history, geography, all of that was just like, please get me out of here. But anyways, all of that to say, I think the reason coaching is so fun for me too is because I know a lot about the brain. I read like research for fun sometimes, medical journals. I just love science. So we're going to talk about a piece of the brain or part of the brain. I'm going to make it as simple as possible. Okay. So any of you that are super technical out there and probably even smarter than I am scientifically, don't come for me. Okay. I'm going to try and break this down so that people who were not science fans can still enjoy the podcast and listen and understand concepts that maybe felt very complex in class. Okay. I always appreciate when people do that for me in math, like dumb it down to the easiest level possible. So I'm going to do that for you with this. Okay. So we have a part of our brain called the reticular activating system. It's abbreviated as RAS. And the amazing thing about the reticular activating system is that whatever you basically begin to notice, it focuses on for you at like hyper speed. It'll see it all the time. So I'm going to give you the most simple example of this. And I know that this has probably happened to you. No matter your age, if you have a dream car, okay, you maybe see a car on the expressway or the highway or the road, you're driving one day and you see this car that you love. Maybe it's a red Porsche, okay? Or maybe it's a gray Toyota, whatever, I don't know, Highlander. Or maybe it's a Tesla, okay, in like electric blue or whatever, okay? When you see that car, and you have a reaction, an emotional reaction. You're just like, oh my gosh, I want that. I need that. I love that. That is like my favorite car ever. I love that thing. The reticular activating system piece of your brain is like, oh, she or he likes that. We should show them more of that. We should show that to them every single time. So we're going to watch very closely for this thing that they say that they love, right? This thing that they're telling themselves that they think is amazing. We're going to try to focus in on it so deeply that they see it everywhere. So then what tends to happen is every time you're out and about, you probably see that electric blue Tesla. You see that gray Toyota Highlander. You see that red Porsche. Okay. And you're like, oh my God, there it is again. Oh my God, there it is again. Or what happens is you buy a brand new car or a used car, whatever. It doesn't have to be a brand new car, but you get a car. Okay. This happened I drive a Lexus, and it was my most prized possession back whenever I got it. I was in relationship marketing. You had to reach a certain level in order to earn it. I had big goals for why I wanted to earn it. And I saw that Lexus everywhere. Okay, once I had picked out the car that was my dream, I saw it everywhere. And once I actually got it and drove off the lot and would drive it around, I would see it everywhere. And it was funny because I never saw it before. Before I knew about earning a Lexus in my, former relationship marketing company, I never saw that car. I never paid attention. I never looked and thought, oh my gosh, that's an amazing car. It was out of sight, out of mind. So the reticular activating system in our brain, basically whenever we see something that is meaningful to us, it works really hard to focus on finding that thing, okay? And reinforces basically the act of seeing it. So here's what I'm going to tell you of how it shows up in real life, okay? And why it can serve you and why it can kick you in the booty, okay? So you all know in this podcast, we talk a lot about thoughts, what you're telling yourself, what you're believing about yourself, the stories that your brain makes up, right? You have a lot of that. And all of your thoughts and all of your beliefs about yourself make up who you believe that you are, what you think is or is not possible for yourself. Okay, so last episode we talked about self-confidence and self-worth. And I talked to you guys about how what you believe makes you worthy is simply made up by your mind, by examples that your mind can think of. Okay, so when you have a thought in your brain about yourself, what your reticular activating system does is it looks for all of the evidence that that is true or not, okay? So if you believe I'm not good enough, the reticular activating system's job is to basically look for all of the evidence to prove that you're right, okay? That is the part that can kick you in the booty. Because here's the deal. When you're working on becoming your highest self, you're working on becoming a version of yourself, right? Your truest, most form, I guess you could say. Like the version of you that already actually exists, but you don't believe that you're that version yet. Okay, it's basically like you have all this potential, you have all of these talents, you have everything inside of you to make it happen, but you don't see it yet. You don't believe it yet. So when you're becoming your highest self, you're not trying to become a different version per se. You're just trying to step into your ultimate potential that already exists in you. You just have not believed that you have it. And a part of the reason you don't believe that you have it is because of the thoughts that you've been telling yourself your entire life. So for instance, I'm going to tell you a goal that I have multiple clients right now. They have this goal. And I had a friend that had this goal, okay? And it was to write a book. Now, if your goal is to write a book and then you have thoughts about that, I want you to observe what thoughts you have or are having about writing a book. So what a lot of times I hear is, I want to write a book, but that's how everyone starts that sentence. I want to write a book, but. And then their but focuses on all of the reasons they don't believe they can write a book. I'm not qualified. I don't have an education in writing. I'm not that good at English. I'm not that good at spelling in, punctuation. I am not super creative. I don't know if I can share my story. I don't know what idea to go with first. I don't know what people would want to buy. I don't know where to get it published. I don't know how to do any of that. I don't even know where to begin, right? Your brain will offer so many thoughts about why you can't become an author, okay? Why you will never be a New York Times bestseller, why you will never win an award, why it won't be possible to make an income from your books, okay? You're going to be presented with all of those reasons or all of those thoughts. And then your reticular activating system will, because those are the thoughts that are circulating in your mind, your reticular activating system will look for all of the evidence that that is true. It's just like when you see that electric blue Tesla and you're like, ooh, I like that. I think I want an electric blue Tesla. Now suddenly you see an electric blue Tesla everywhere. Okay, so if you're having a lot of negative thoughts, you're going to see a lot of negative evidence that supports why you shouldn't write a book or whatever example you want to put in there. Okay, the opposite of this is if you start having thoughts like, I want to write a book and I know that it's possible. I know that I have so many ideas. I'm going to get started today. You're going to start seeing a lot of evidence for what makes it possible. People are going to pop up in your life that are writing a book and self-publishing on Amazon. People are going to pop up in your life sharing stories of people they know who have written books. Like, you're going to be flooded with the evidence of what you're believing most. If you're believing I'll never make more money, guess what your reticular activating system is going to focus on? All the ways you're not going to make more money. You're going to see more bills coming in. You're going to see more debt coming in. You're going to see all of the reasons it's impossible. You're going to see coworkers who are getting declined from the raises that they're asking for. Okay, you're going to be collecting a lot of evidence for why it's not possible for you because of what you're focusing on, not because of what's actually possible. And this is what bites people in the butt. Okay, whenever I'm like, create a vision board, and people are like, oh, ooh, yeah, I need to do that. I don't even know where to begin with that. How do I create a vision board? I'm probably never going to have the things I want on it. Okay, when that is their thinking, they're going to be presented with all of the reasons they're right. This is why the quote exists, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. There's a quote out there. Maybe you've seen it. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And the whole thing behind that quote is that whatever you believe, you're absolutely right. If you believe that you can, you will. If you believe that you can't, you won't. Not because you're incapable, but because whatever thoughts your brain is leading with, your reticular activating system comes in. It's like, ooh, we're going to show her more of that. We're going to show him more of this. We're going to support all of the things that they already believe about themselves. Okay? So when you're talking down to yourself and you're believing I'm not enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not pretty enough, whatever the thoughts are, your brain is also going to collect evidence that makes you believe that that is true. It's going to try and show you as many things that help reinforce that belief, okay? So we really have to be onto ourselves in the way that we're talking about ourselves, in the way that we're talking about our dreams. It's kind of like, I need to do a podcast episode of this, I think isolated, but it's like whenever you run into a problem, you're either someone who, constantly finds problems, or you're the person that constantly finds solutions. Like you either solve problems a lot of the times or you find problems a lot of the times. And the difference is the way that you think. Right? So if a problem arises, does your brain say, oh, there's a solution for this and I'll figure it out? Or does your brain say, oh my God, this is a problem. I'm not going to be able to figure this out. This is a catastrophe. And does it go down like a negative path? Because whatever your brain is most focused on is what you're going to keep seeing the most of. Okay? Really important to get that down. Just like whenever you find something that you like, ooh, I love, let's say, coffin-shaped nails for all the ladies, right? Like those were really popular years ago. I don't know if they're as popular now, but like they were literally shaped like a coffin, okay? And everybody had coffin-shaped nails just a few years ago. And so if you were on Pinterest searching coffin-shaped nails, more than likely what your brain does is it's like a magnifying glass and it's going to look for every possibility to find coffin-shaped nails to show to you, okay? So when you're out and about, you look down at someone's fingers and you're like, oh my God, coffin-shaped nails. See, I should totally get those. I love those. Everybody's getting them. And then you go somewhere else and you see someone's nails and you're like, oh my God, coffin-shaped nails again. I'm seeing it everywhere. Same thing with lashes, right? Lashes are a big thing. I love lashes. So P.S. I am not going to fight with anybody that wants to have lashes because I love doing lash extensions. And it's funny because whenever I saw them and locked in on, ooh, I think that their eyes look really pretty with those lash extensions. Then I saw everybody who had lash extensions. I would notice immediately. My brain was so hyper-focused on it that I would see it everywhere. Okay, this is also why if you're big into spirituality, right, and you're like, ooh, angel numbers. So there's a lot of people that, spirituality practices, whatever, and maybe you believe in angel numbers. Angel numbers, for anybody that's confused, can be, numbers like 222, 333, 444. And if you Google, they have meanings, whether you believe that or not, totally up to your discretion. But if that's something that is in your wheelhouse and you're thinking about, I'm looking for signs, I'm looking for, things to believe in and you're like, I love angel numbers, then I guarantee you see them everywhere because your reticular activating system is going to be working in the background very strategically to show you those things or these things, okay? So you have to watch how you talk to yourself and what you decide to focus on in your life. Are you focusing on your goals and what you want to happen, or are you focusing on things you don't want to happen? Because whatever you're focusing on is what you will see. There's another quote that says, what you focus on grows. And that is also what this means, okay? Like what I'm talking to you about is why that quote is also a big one. What you focus on grows, because again, whatever you decide to focus on is going to be magnified. If you're focusing on your problems and what you don't want to happen in your life, you're going to see a lot more of it. If you're focused on where you're going and what you do want to happen in your life, you're going to see a lot more of that. So what are you focusing on? If you do not like what you're seeing, if you do not like what you're living, if you do not like what you're experiencing, you really need to ask yourself, what am I focusing on? Because whatever I'm focusing on, this clever piece of my brain called the reticular activating system is going to keep showing me this over and over and over again to prove that I'm right. Okay, that's why people who are negative thinkers and always see problems continue to think negatively and always see problems. That's why people who tend to think more positively and see solutions always end up finding solutions and feeling positive. It's not because your life is tainted. It's not because you're incapable. It's not because you've been dealt a bad hand or you are cursed in any kind of way. It's because what you're focusing on, a piece of your brain called the reticular activating system says, oh, they're focused on this. We're going to keep showing them this. And then they're going to keep believing that this is the only thing available to them. So whenever you get around people and they're like, woe is me, my life is hard, my life sucks, I hate everything, I hate everybody, nobody likes me, nobody wants to be around me, that's what they're going to keep seeing because that's what they're focusing on. Okay, same people that are like, I always have bad luck. Oh, okay, basically ask and you shall receive, okay, because it's like, I always have bad luck. So guess what their brain is looking for? All of the ways they have bad luck. So guess what they keep creating? More bad luck. This is what I mean by whatever you're focusing on grows. And whatever you're focusing on, your brain will look for evidence to prove that you're right. Even for things you don't want to be right about. Okay, you don't even want to be right about having bad luck. If you're someone who says to yourself, I have bad luck, and you're like, I hate having bad luck, but you're focused on bad luck. So your brain is looking for bad luck. So you're going to keep running in and finding situations that feel like bad luck and reinforce to you the belief that you have bad luck. Nobody's doing that to you. You're creating that because you're not aware of how your brain operates. This is why coaching is vital for you to really deeply learn the ways in which your brain is so powerful, how powerful the emotions in your body are, the energy that comes off of you based on your emotional and brain connection, okay? Whatever you're living in your life right now, you're creating. So if you don't like it, you have to think differently. You have to see things differently. You have to even understand yourself and what the heck is going on. That's why I love self-awareness work. It's why I love emotional intelligence. It's why I do what I do as a coach. So if you know that you're getting stuck in these cycles and you know that you need help and you're really having trouble getting yourself out of it, you've tried multiple times and to no avail, you're like, ugh, I hate it. I cannot get out of my own way. I keep trying. I keep listening to the podcast. I keep reading all the books. I keep trying and trying and trying. And I'm really tired of my own BS and I'm really ready to change it. Then schedule a 60-minute consult with me on MacyRenee.com. I can help you. We can equip you with all of the tools that you need to get yourself out of your own way, but you have to even understand what the heck is going on in order to even begin to change behavior. A lot of times when people try to change behavior and they're not able to, it's because they don't understand where it's coming from in the first place. They really pocketed themselves or put themselves in a corner as like, it only is happening to me, right? Very like victim-y. We hate hearing that, but like truly their brain goes into victim mentality. It's not so much you, it's your brain. And it's like, it's unfixable. It's just me. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough. It's me. It's my life. It's the trauma. It's all of these people who have done this to me. It's woe is me, right? That's what people get stuck in. That's what I was stuck in for years, 17 years of therapy. 17 years I laid on a couch and was woe is me, okay? And then after 17 years, I got sick of my own BS. I was tired of myself. I was tired of complaining. I was tired of crying. I was tired of being numb and still not feeling any better. I was tired of myself, tired of my own BS, tired of walking around waiting for things to be different and nobody changing that had hurt me, nothing changing in my life. I was tired, okay? So if you're in that same place, I have the utmost amount of compassion for you because I know how hard it was. I did it for a very long time. It was mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually exhausting. It impacted so many of my relationships in a negative way. It impacted my relationship with myself in a very negative way. So if you're stuck here and you want out, you have to be tired of your own BS. And if you're tired of your own BS, coaching is a beautiful place for you to be. If you're ready to get out of your own way and you're ready to dive into the work. Not everybody is ready because it's not easy. Ask any of my clients. Ask me. I will tell you, not easy. It's very different from even what you're hearing on the podcast. Doing the work versus listening to the work, two totally different things. But if you're there and you're like, I'm so tired of my own BS, I'm tired of getting in my own way, I want things to be different, schedule a free consult on MacyRenee.com. Make sure you get on my email list so you don't miss any offers or anything that's coming out, okay? And let's help you get on the right track because it is possible. It's absolutely possible, and it will change your life. All right? I love you. Have an amazing Christmas, you guys. I'm so excited. I'm sending so much love for all of you that are grieving during this time, who have lost loved ones during this time, who are struggling during this time. I'm also sending so much love and excitement for those of you who are thrilled and excited and waking up and getting to watch Christmas through your kids' eyes. I'm so happy for you. I'm celebrating with you, and I will see you guys next week. Bye. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. If you'd like to connect on social media, you can find me on both Instagram and Facebook at Macy Renee Coaching. And if you want to stay up to date on all of my offers, announcements, and inspirational emails, you can join my email list at MacyRenee.com. In addition, if there's a way that I can further support you in your coaching journey, you can schedule a free 60-minute consult at MacyRenee.com anytime you want so we can discuss the best options for you. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.